Hey Ian, what's up? How you doing on this fine echo-based nights?
Nice self-promotion there. I'm doing all right. I got something to talk about.
Oh, like
Yeah,
what?
Mandalorian comes out like Friday?
Is that 5 days from now? We'll go Friday.
It is Friday. Yeah, Friday. So 5 days from now, new season of The Mandalorian. And I wanted to pick your brain on what do you want to see out of this new season?
All right, I think I got time to do that.
Well, I certainly hope so. Otherwise, all of this was for naught.
Oh, who's not? And why are we doing this podcast for him?
He's our secret patron, of course.
Is our secret Patreon that we don't tell anyone about?
No, not Patreon, just patron.
Oh, like the tequila.
Right. See, if we don't put out a podcast once every year, he will consume the world.
Oh, that is quite unfortunate for the world, considering our ability to put out podcasts in timely manners.
Nope, doesn't exist. So, world's doomed.
Our bad.
Yep. Anyway, Mandalorian.
Oh, yeah. So what's up with that guy?
Well, we're going to find out in a couple days. Is there anything in particular that you're looking forward to or want to see out of the new season?
I'm trying not to hold out for any specific cameos or anything like that.
Sure.
Mostly because with the television series we've gotten that aren't set during a movie time period, I guess. So that'd be like Rebels. It's kind of in between the prequel and the original trilogy. I like that they kind of kept the major characters from the franchises to a minimum. It's kind of like one-off cameos some of the time. So I know there's a lot of hype for Ahsoka maybe being in it or Boba Fett maybe being in it. It'd be cool to see a live-action Ahsoka. Boba Fett, I don't really have any feelings for. I've made a Boba Fett costume once. That's about as far as that has gone. But otherwise, I'm interested just to see more of the Star Wars world, which is what I was excited about with the show. We're getting to see more of what regular life is outside of light side versus dark side conflict. In fact, we get a guy that's so in the middle. His armor's gray. Ian, your thoughts?
Oh, that
hurt?
pun was so bad. It legitimately caused me pain. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that there's a lot left that we can explore here in terms of the Star Wars world. I am looking forward to maybe exploring some specific things kind of in that umbrella. It looks like we're going to have, from one of the trailers, we see that there are some X-Wings involved. And I'd like to get a little bit more info on this era of the New Republic, because this is really the only time and place that we could really get any of that info, because it's this time period that was established sometime in between the end of Return of the Jedi and got blown up in The Force Awakens. So we don't know a lot about this time period and them specifically, or the transition between the Empire and the First Order, how those two things how one fell and the other rose. So I'm looking forward to maybe getting some answers as to sort of the state of the galaxy in this sort of time period. I'm excited to see more Mandalorian culture and Mandalorian stuff. Mando culture is very interesting, and there's also this kind of hole in the lore as well, where the last time we saw heavy Mandalorian influence was in Rebels, when, the clans were kind of warring over Imperial control of Mandalore. And then we go to the Mandalorian. They're all in hiding. They've been cast out and forced to rely on foundlings. And then there's the Moff Gideon with the Darksaber, which I was really curious to see that there wasn't a lot of that story arc depicted in any of the trailers we saw, because, Moff Gideon was the mystery at the end of the last season. So I'm curious to see where they're going to go with that. I like the idea that it's not going to overtake the entire series, but I do hope they don't just kind of waylay it.
Right. I have a feeling that we're going to get more information about that, because we've already seen that they're not afraid to do flashbacks. which I was kind of stoked on with especially seeing, it being 20 something years since we saw live action battle droids.
Right.
Live action in quotes. And with one of the trailer sneak peeks saying that he needs to go find more Mandalorians to find more information. We may get more information on Purge of Mandalore and how Bo-Katan lost the Darksaber, if that hasn't been covered in some print media that I'm not aware of.
Yeah, not to my knowledge, but I've also fallen behind on print media pretty significantly. Like, I've got 4 or 5 books that have been out for a while now that are just sitting around that I need to read. I read way more in the winter, so now that it's getting to be the end of October, hopefully I'll get more books read. I've been playing through the Squadrons single-player game, and that kind of takes place in this period where the New Republic is established itself as a thing, and the Imperial remnant, so to speak, is still active as the Empire. So it would be interesting to see if any of that kind of overlaps, or if there's like a little cameo or something like that. I'm not really looking forward to any specific cameos, but I am looking forward to the fact that I know that there will be some, just on principle.
Yeah, I'm glad in the 3 sneak peeks that we've seen, we haven't really we didn't really see any major spoilers for that, because I would rather be surprised by them than be expecting them and then them not happening or something like that.
Right.
I know in the first one we do see WWE superstar and women's champion as of 10/25/2020, Sasha Banks. That led me early on to believe that was Sabine, and I thought that had been like confirmed.
Yeah, no, just
had not
speculation.
So now it's now that is speculation. I'm back to like all excited about the character even more.
Yeah, I've heard a bunch of different theories. I have a couple theories about like certain places we saw in the trailer, but I'm not really gonna speculate on that now. Like you, I want to be either impressed that I'm right or surprised at what it actually is. I am really interested to see how they're going to handle the Forcey Warsey aspect, because he's hunting Force users to return a Force user to Force users. This series is a real opportunity to play around with the perception of the Force and its users and how they're seen in the galaxy as a whole, because we have the Skywalker saga, which really is very black and white when it comes to, and Star Wars as a whole is very black and white when it comes to the Force and Force using and all that, because, that was the original intent of the story. It was a story of good versus evil, but because it's grown so much, there's room for a lot of nuance that I would say hasn't really been explored to the fullest in most media. So it'll be real interesting to see what they do in terms of that nuance with Force using here in live action stuff.
Was there anything specifically from the trailers that caught your eye?
I really liked that there was a boat. Like, the fact that there was just a vessel that travels on water in this. I don't know why, but that just stuck out to me. And it's kind of similar to the fact that, like back in the previous season, we had a small village of shrimp farmers. It really brings forward the sci fantasy aspect of Star Wars rather than the sort of the pure sci-fi, because it shows people working alongside this future technology to kind of just do normal people things instead of, like having everything automated. We've seen planets that are like that, but it's cool to see that sort of down to earth, so to speak. Probably Mon Cala.
Unless the Monkels officially exiled the Corn people to some Monkel moon.
I doubt that. That doesn't seem like their style.
That boat interested me because it reminded me of the Bebop from Cowboy Bebop. Is this massive spaceship, and if you go look at the scale of that thing, it's way bigger than you think. But it's also a fishing boat.
What? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Huh.
It was a fishing boat on Ganymede. Ganymede? I think it was Ganymede, because that's where all the otters are. Yeah. Anyways, backtracking. It's the same thing with you. It's kind of this cool mix of this old world technology that just isn't just going to go away, isn't going to become outdated just because they have repulsor craft.
Right.
These ancient ways still work. I mean, it's basically all of the Outer Rim and Firefly.
Yeah.
Everyone's cowboys, but they also have spaceships. For me, in the trailer, it's something that I've noticed in the more recent movies and in the last season of the Mando, when they had the X-wings flying around and then they had that space station that they attacked. I don't know if it's just me, but you can really tell that there's models there, or at least the 3D models that are using are lit in a way to look like miniatures. Here's an example in the opening shot of Rogue One, where you're seeing the super laser disc being added to the Death Star, and there's like a Star Destroyer comes out of shadow, and it's all like one color except for the shadows. Like it looks like a physical model, and I don't know why, but my brain really enjoys that. Like me being able to pick out, oh, that looks like a model, and the fact that those are probably 3D models being lit and designed to look like physical models hurts my head. I'm like, that's too much dedication. You got to stop it. Don't actually stop it. And then I had a fun thought going back onto the X-wings that I would really like it if there was a running gag where the X-wings the Mando keeps running into is Dave Filoni and Rick. I cannot pronounce your last name, man. I can't.
Famuyiwa?
Yeah, you tried. Good job.
Famuyiwa. He's Nigerian, so
yeah.
Hopefully I pronounced that right.
But
American Nigerian, I should specify.
I know it's not going to happen, but I would love it if those pilots are like the ones that keep showing up, whatever area of the galaxy they're in, like the Mando's in, like that happens to be part of their control space. Be a running gag. They're like they never meet; they just space together.
Yeah, what's interesting about that X-wing scene is that in this one of the second trailers, they seem to be hailing Mando's ship and telling it to stand down. So he may have ticked off the New Republic somehow, which would be interesting.
They probably found out he boarded one of their prison ships.
Yeah, that actually, that's a good point.
He was with a group that killed Anakin Skywalker, but he did trade 4 criminals for 1 criminals. 3 criminals?
Which one he traded, yeah, and then eventually blew up the other criminals. Tricked the New Republic into blowing up the criminals, which I don't think they would have much of a problem with.
I just like their strategy of let's not even try to hail the station. Let's they're sending up a gunship. Might as well blow up the whole place. That's how I want a New Republic.
They're
even explosive.
They're still trying to find their feet, so they're not taking any chances. So I'm looking forward to seeing what surprises are in store.
Oh, I was stoked to see that Horatio Sands is back, or somebody of the Blue Fishman's race.
Yeah. That would be really interesting because the last time we saw him, he was in Carbonite.
Yeah, and it kind of looks like they're Cara Dune and Karga are breaking him out.
Oh, yeah, could be.
That's what I got because they're in a stolen troop transport and being chased by speeder bikes, which I'm stoked to see. I've always wondered if a speeder bike can fly off the edge of a building and survive, a 100-foot drop, and it looks like they can.
I wonder how much time is going to pass between seasons. Because Grief Karga now has a very, very white beard. And I don't know what that's about.
I think it turned white in the middle of the Gideon firefight, the end of season.
Because he's just freaking out and stressing out the whole time. That wouldn't surprise me. So there could be a bit of a time skip. I hope it's not too much, though, to be honest. I'd be fine with a couple months maybe, but don't do the whole half a year thing. Definitely don't go years later. Well, that's really all I got. I'm trying to keep it kind of vague because, like you said, there's stuff that I kind of want to still be surprised by, and I don't want to plant ideas in your head that might, ruin something or another. Though there's one thing I did see where there's a theory going around that the fighting pit, where we see the Gamorreans having a punching match, is a reference to a level and character from the Terrace Kasi video game.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
Kira is really good at that Terrakasi.
Yeah. And I'm all right. Any last minute things you want to throw in there?
It looks like we're going to be getting another 8 episodes, which will be interesting, as were the other 8 episodes. The one trailer looks like we're going back to Tatooine, unless there's off-world Tuskens, which I'm sure there could be.
I don't know about that, because
Jawas and off-world sandcrawlers.
Well, off-world Jawas I can get behind, because they're all they want to do is scavenge and find stuff. But the Tuskens, all the lore about Tuskens up until this point are all about they're a nomadic desert tribe people who worships the planet and hates all the outsiders. So I don't really see them getting on transports, picking up their bantha and heading off to Ord Mantell or whatever.
At least from what I can remember from the Star Wars customizable card game by Decipher. It's
also where the Jedi. It's also where the Jedi Academy is on. KOTOR.
That's where you meet the cat lady, right?
Yeah.
I kept her dark side. Just kept feeding her fears.
Of course you did.
I'm a good Revan.
Well, I mean, by that definition, you're a bad Revan.
Oh, certain point of view and such. Star Wars.
Yeah, absolutely. But we're not here to talk about Revan. We're here to talk about The Mandalorian. Because if we were here to talk about Revan, we would waste a lot more time.
I would just put my mic on mute and go play something while you talk.
Yeah, you would provide the Let's Play footage for...
No, I'd be playing Command & Conquer. And then you would just be talking. I'd be like, uh-huh. Yeah.
I'd be interested to see if the child develops any more sort of if he can communicate by the end of the season beyond gestures. Mm-hmm. I think he works better as how he's being portrayed now. The dynamic would change significantly if he begins to communicate, but I'm also really interested to see the development of him, because I'm this was hurting my brain a while ago before I had to stop myself and go it's fake and it's space. Because I was going, if he's 50 years old and he's still an infant, the species should not be able to survive as long as it does, because a lot can go wrong in 50 years, and that's the reason why some species can just come out fully able to walk and run and hide and stuff. Mm-hmm. But then I thought to myself, it's fake, it's space, and also they're magic. Magic.
Anyway.
Do the magic hand thing.
And then the baby waves.
One of the things that I kind of think is happening is I don't think they gave us, just based on the trailer, they probably only gave us footage from the first 4 episodes or so.
I agree, and it's kind of what they did with the first season too, because I don't think in any of the trailers, at least I don't remember because it was a year ago, that we saw any new Beskar on him. And
yeah, you're right.
I don't think there is a new Beskar armored Black Series action figure. They released his first episode look as a figure, and then he got, by the end of the first episode, he got the new Poldrin, or maybe the second or third episode, and then the rest of the Cuirass. So who knows if he's going to get even more silver. He's going to get a Beskar cape, Beskar boots.
The boots I could see. I don't think he can get
a full cape, and maybe not a Beskar cape, but maybe just a full cape, because I think he has a half cape right now.
Well, you don't want to have too much fabric if you're also wearing a jetpack.
Star Wars.
I mean, fair, but also nuggets. I think we've drained our brains.
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah. So stick around for new episodes of the podcast on The Mandalorian. So we'll probably do the same thing that we did with the first season of The Mandalorian and go through a couple episodes before doing an episode on review, just because it's much more we can do a much broader analysis instead of going episode to episode. And I know roommate Mike is interested in watching it with us, so perhaps we'll have him on again to add to commentary. So look forward to that. We're going to start playing around with maybe some Let's Play ideas coming up in the future. No guarantees, because
if my
obviously
new CPU arrives. Ugh.
Yeah, no, it's lost in the void, never to be seen. It's just your delivery man is a ghost, and that's why you bought a metaphysical CPU. All right, so keep an eye out for future projects. Hit us up on the website HothTopicsPodcast.com. Tweet at us on the Twitters at HothPod, or send us an email at HothPod@gmail.com.
Oh,
and we'll see y'all later.
Yeah, we'll do that.